What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another live stream. And it's been a few days since we've gone live and done some content for reasons you might have seen going around social media over the past couple of days. Ben, congratulations to him. He got married on Sunday, so he isn't with us today. But to fill in his big shoes, I'm sure you'll know him by now. We are joined today by Brian Daigle. How are you doing, Brian? Good to have you today.
I'm in my home from home. It's my second home. It's good to be here. It was great to be at the wedding. Mazel tov to Ben, Ashley and all the families. And yeah, come back and we have a big day to talk about, don't we?
We have a very, very big day. And I'm sure all of you have seen the news coming out of Tottenham today. Look, in fact, we got a word yesterday that and there was obviously rumours flying around the past couple of days that there was a certain player that was set to attend Hotspur on Sunday. Unfortunately, that said player's agent was ill, and the visit to Hotspur got delayed. But it looks like that player's identity, which apparently Tottenham wanted to keep very secret and very hush-hush, apparently that player's identity has now been revealed, and it was first broke today by Gary Jacob, and that is that Tottenham have agreed a £25 million deal with Brighton for the transfer of Yves Bissouma, which is an absolutely fantastic deal in my book. Not only is Gary Jacob confirming it now, so he was the first one. He says that Tottenham agree a fee of £25 million for Yves Bissouma, and it. Romano has now followed up on that, saying it's potentially 26 million euros plus add-ons, which is a fantastic deal for a player in his last year of his contract. Romano following up saying that Bissouma has been offered a 5-year deal by Spurs and Antonio Conte. Charlie Eccleshare also following up saying that Spurs have agreed a fee with Brighton, and the medical will be sorted out this week. And Lyle Thomas as well confirming this news, that the medical is going to be sorted out, I think he's saying on Thursday. So some people play games on a Thursday night. We're signing players on a Thursday. Absolutely fantastic. But look, Yves Bissouma is a midfielder I've wanted for a long time. I think he's been brilliant for Brighton. I think he's a proper boss in the central midfield. He's an upgrade on what we have, I think, in terms of dribbling ability. I think physically as well, he's got a hell of a shot on him. Although I don't think he scores many goals as he probably should with his shooting ability, I think he's got a very good shot on him. His passing range is pretty good as well. I think at 25 million with 1 year left on his contract, it's an absolute steal. So I'm delighted with this piece of business.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I woke up and I saw you say, Brian, big news, let's get into the studio. It's a big deal. It is a big deal. He is a fantastic midfielder with tons and tons of potential, with a high ceiling to get to. The price is fantastic, let's be serious. And it's a big move. It's a big move. And as you said, normally our deals are common knowledge to everyone. The way they've managed to keep this under wraps from Sunday and then just come out with it today, this is a big deal. It's one I'm very excited with.
Yeah, and one that seems to be moving very, very quickly, and it's something that maybe we've been guilty of in the past, of umming and ahhing, trying to save a few million here, a few million there, and this deal this is the classic deal that would probably drag on till the end of the window in years gone past. I'm happy that we've agreed the deal with Brighton, which is usually the hard part, and then now that deal has been agreed. I'm pretty sure we don't agree with that deal unless we've gotten word from the Bissouma camp that he wants to come. He's happy to make that step up. Champions League football. Obviously, we probably want to keep it under wraps for a couple of reasons, I would say. First reason being we don't want to repeat of things that have happened in the past with Luis Diaz and things like that. And Willian. And we know that Bissouma's definitely been wanted by Liverpool and Arsenal very recently, heavily linked with the likes of Liverpool very recently. So I think that's probably one reason we probably didn't want to have it leak to the press until the deal was agreed. And unfortunately, there's something we do have to discuss. That's his controversies that surrounding Bissouma and the charges laid against him. Now, a lot of people are uncomfortable with Spurs agreeing a deal for a player, and I guess a lot of people also uncomfortable with people being happy that we agreed a deal with a player when these things are still when these charges are still against his name. Of I don't want to get demonetized. I don't know if I can mention them, but obviously you can look it up and you can see what he's been accused of. But do you think there's any chance Spurs would go this far in a deal if they thought there was any chance that he could be found guilty?
I don't think they would. I don't think they would. And also, we've had things like this before. I mean, it's not as severe. You've got to remember Harry Redknapp had this tax case over his head. He came to us. It's personal life and everything. Obviously, it's not the greatest thing. But I think, like you said, it wouldn't go this far without knowing that they're going to support him through this. And with this case, who knows where it's going to go. But I only care about the footballing ability. That's all. That's what we want. You've heard me talk, and all I care about is what goes on the pitch, and what this guy does on the pitch is what I want to see at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah. My T-Fam says he's never been charged. Yeah, I meant accused, not charged. Yep. He was released under a police investigation.
Exactly.
That's still ongoing. Apparently, that was up. His bail was up on June the 6th. I don't know the details of the case, but look, all I'm thinking is at the moment, obviously, it's hard to be happy about signing a player if he is found guilty of something like that, which is obviously horrific. But hopefully, that's something that the club know about. I'm sure they are. They do their due diligence. You would hope so. And I'm sure that from a PR standpoint, there's no chance this deal would have come about if the club felt there was any chance that he was actually guilty of these crimes. So anyway, moving on from that, I think he's exactly what we need from a central midfielder in our team. I think he really brings depth of quality, and I think he brings a new element to our midfield which we don't have. And I'm super excited about the potential of him in our side. And I can't think of a better player we can get for that kind of money on the market right now, with 1 year left on his contract. Every time I've seen him play, especially against Tottenham, he's absolutely bossed it, hasn't he? He's been dominant in the middle, and that's against the likes of Højbjerg and Bentancur, who have been singing their praise of. Bissouma, for a worse side, usually stands head and shoulders above them, even when we're beating them. And obviously they beat us, didn't they, in April? He was absolutely brilliant in that game. So I'm absolutely excited to have him with us rather than against us. Yeah,
I mean, in the FA Cup game, he certainly did boss. Bentancur came on as a sub, wasn't it? It was his first appearance after the winter window, but the April game, he did absolutely boss it against us. And you look at the four that we have now, with Skip included, with Bentancur or Højbjerg. With Bissouma, the variation, they're a different player, and the combinations, and most importantly, the strength and depth in that position. Bissouma is a huge part of that, and this is what we want to see. Yeah, this is really what we want to see, all of us, and this is a huge step forward for us.
And look, we're currently June 14th. With the window is, I think, a week old now, maybe, or something.
4 days.
4 days old. And we are moving quickly. Forster through the door. Perisic through the door. That was before the window even opened. Djed Spence, we'll talk about it in a bit, but that deal looks like it's definitely hitting the end of that potential deal. And now Bissouma is looking like a medical this week, and that could be through the door within a week. So we are moving very, very quickly in this window. That's what we've wanted, isn't it?
This is the thing. That's all we've wanted. That's all we've wanted as a club, to bring in the right players and get the business done before pre-season. So whoever the manager may be, and I'm going to use Pochettino as the main one, and obviously now Conte, because we know how rigorous and demanding those pre-season trainings are, and how he wants all players to be at the same level for the start of the season. And finally, it looks like it's being listened to. We have a manager where this is getting done. We have a director of football where this is getting done. So it's great news for us as a club. It really is.
Yeah, I can't honestly. He's a player that I've sung his praises for so long, and the fact that we've acted decisively, we've gotten ahead of the competition for him. I think, and with our options, as you say, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Skip, and Bissouma, obviously Winks is very much going to be on his way out. You have to believe after this transfer. But how do you think now that midfield with that depth, how does that stack up against the teams around that we're competing with?
It's starting to stack up there. Like we're also talking there, and we're going to talk about that. There still could be an Eriksen to add to this. And then you've got, if Eriksen comes in, then you've got the option of playing 3 in midfield, or you could stick to what we've been doing with the 2 in the centre. This is what we've needed. We needed four players that we know can play at this level more than capably. And it, like I said, I can't stress how big this move is for me. I'm so surprised by it all. Not surprised that we wanted him. Not surprised that it's getting done in this manner. You look at that and you've got to think we're playing Champions League football this year. We've got the domestic cups, obviously, and then obviously the Premiership. We needed 4 solid midfielders that could go the distance, that could each offer something. And it looks like we've got it. It looks like we may just have it.
And also, you got to remember Bissouma, as much as he's been playing in a very, very well-oiled Brighton side who are like quite good tactically and structurally and stuff like that. You know, get him around better players and maybe his game steps up. And maybe he might be even better than we even think he is, because sometimes a lot of these players, obviously, they can shine in I wouldn't say smaller teams, but in other teams where the quality isn't as high, they kind of be a step above. But once they have joined a team where players are more on their level, maybe we can see a new level unlocked in him. And I think I've seen, from a dribbling point of view and from a physical point of view, I think he's always dominant. Even against like the best teams, I see him have good games. He always impresses me. So putting him in when you got the likes of Son and Kane and Kulusevski creating space around him, and hopefully with 2 new wing backs as well, and allowing him in the centre to really dominate. Do you think maybe we can finally say we're getting a replacement for Moussa Dembele?
That's a bold statement, but I would say he is the one that's in the mould of it. He is most definitely, out of everyone we've signed, that I think is in the mould, ready to do that when you add in his dribbling skills. You look at where we're going right now. If we look at it, our front 3 is electric. We all know that. The back 3 need work, but if we get the back 3 sorted, the midfield we have now, the spine of this team, if we can get the defenders in after this, is probably the strongest we've had ever.
And you're trying to improve on a defence that was part of the reson we got the top 4 in the end, wasn't it? Because they kept 5 clean sheets out of the last 10 games. They defended. That I thought Davis, Dyer, and Romero were fantastic. I think it was just a case in point that Conte was getting the best out of what he had, which was fantastic. But to take us to a new level, we do need improvement. But anyway. I'm so excited about the potential of Bissouma. I think he's going to be a great signing for Tottenham. I want to hear everyone's comments in the comment section. I want to know what people are thinking about him, because I think, especially as well, that all the Arsenal fans twerking for Bissouma, for a long time I've seen, and for us to steer the march on them. I think as well, it could very easily be the case that if we didn't get top 4, it could easily be switched. And they could have been the ones stealing a march on us. And that's how crucial that nabbing that 4th spot, I think, could be.
Oh, without doubt, and it's good. He played brilliantly against the filth. And you look at the mess the filth are in now with Nketiah maybe out the door as well. No striker. They are in a mess. They really are, which is wonderful to see. And long may that continue. And it looks like we are going to be saying mind that gap for a little bit longer the way things are going, because this is like you said, 4 days into the transfer window. 2 very good signings that are going to go straight into the first team. We know Forster is going to be back up and may play cup games or whatever, but the jigsaw is starting to be complete, isn't it?
Yeah, and it seems like Spurs are sticking true to their word so far this summer. They've continually said they're going to look. We're backing Conte. Conte's continually said he wants players in before the South Korea tour. This is June 14th, and we're definitely getting a move on. Look, I'm not saying we need every player in before July, but as long as we have the core of them and maybe add a few later on, that's the main thing. And I think we're doing everything we can to make Conte happy, and that's the main thing.
Completely agree.
Yeah, so absolutely delighted with that deal. Let us know in the comment section what you think about this potential transfer. Looks like it's going to happen. Next up, we're going to be talking about Christian Eriksen. And Gary Jacob followed in his article off the back of the potential Bissouma deal. And he said Tottenham are also quietly confident of persuading Christian Eriksen to join Tottenham. Obviously, there has been reports that from Alfredo Padula over the past few days that Brentford have been unable to convince him to re-sign for them, and he is going to leave on a free, and he will be leaving Brentford. Obviously, Man United have been heavily linked with his signature. Obviously, with Ten Hag now through the door, he was training at Ajax during some of his time off when he was recovering from the cardiac arrest. So obviously he has a connection there. And obviously maybe Ten Hag plays that football Eriksen likes to play. But surely you would like to think that Tottenham are the most attractive option for him, seeing he's played under Antonio Conte before at Inter Milan. Spurs is a place he knows and he loves. I think it's very similar to the Kane situation, where Kane obviously wanted to leave during that time. I said at the time during the Kane situation, I don't think it's that Kane wanted to leave. I think it's that he felt he had to leave.
Yep.
And I think it's the same with Eriksen at the time when he was going through his troubles at Spurs when he left. I didn't think that I think Eriksen loved being at Spurs. I think he loved Tottenham, but he obviously being at Tottenham for so long, never won anything, and then Pochettino being sacked, things weren't going that great under Mourinho. I think he felt like, look, I need to go. I think it's time for me for a change. He went and won the league in Inter Milan. I think he had a good time over there. Obviously, it took time for him. But I think if he does come back to Tottenham, he comes back to a very different Tottenham that he left. Tottenham moving in the right direction. A Tottenham that actually, hopefully, are looking to win things this season, actually challenge for big things. One that's backing their manager, has got a world-class manager at the helm, and maybe he can be reinvigorated to rejoin Spurs. And right now, I think he's nearly as, like what I've seen from him at Brentford and for Denmark, he's as good as he's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, I was really disappointed with Eriksen the way he left. I got very, very emotional about this, just the manner of it and everything. And I've been saying for a long time, I don't want him back. But I've had to take a step back and like I've said, we've got to stop being sentimental and thinking all this. If you can get Eriksen in on a free, what he did at Brentford, and he came back, and if he comes back and it's looking likely, as you said, it's a completely different Tottenham to where he left. The mood around the camp is completely different. The signings we're making are completely different, and those four midfielders we're just talking about. If we need someone to come out and out to create something out of nothing, then for a free, I don't think we can go wrong with Christian Eriksen. I'm going to have to declare I'm back on I want Eriksen to sign now. I really do, because you're looking at the money we spend on Bissouma. Get Eriksen in for a free, then there's a lot of money to develop the defensive positions, which is where we need the main surgery, I think, to get in the big players. So I'm fully on board getting Eriksen back now. I really have done a 180.
Yeah, I mean, can you think of a player who's as creative as Christian Eriksen, even right now, playing for Brentford since he's come back?
Yeah.
I think he's proven at Brentford that he's still up to playing Premier League football. There was obviously question marks with his health and everything, but look, he's got the pacemaker now.
Yep.
I don't think he wants his whole career to have been all about everything leading to what he's achieved in his career. At 30 years old, he's still got so much to give, I feel. And I don't think he wants the cardiac arrest to be a stopping point.
Yep.
I think he wants I want it to be something that's part of the journey. And obviously it's horrific that happened. And I'm thankful that I'm so happy that he's made a full recovery. But I don't think he wants his career to be about that. I think the next few years of his career, I think he wants to challenge for big things. He's still, you don't get to the level he has without being a very, very ambitious player.
Yep.
And he's super ambitious. And I think he wants a challenge for the Champions League again. I think he wants those big Champions League nights and those big game occasions again. And I think he can do all of that at Tottenham. I really believe that. And I would be super happy with him coming back to the club. And on a free transfer, it's a no-brainer. There's no one in Europe you're getting for on a free who's as good as him. And even if we spent big money on him, if we signed him for big money, there are very few players, if any, who are as creative as Eriksen in Europe right now. So and that's one of the things that we're crying out for, especially when we're playing teams with low block, is a bit of creativity.
Yep.
Someone who can unlock the door from deep positions in and around the penalty area. He can use his left foot, right foot unbelievably well. We know everything about Eriksen. Long shot, brilliant. Corners needs work, but maybe he won't be on corners once he. Look, to be fair, his corners for Brentford have been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think Eriksen, people saying it's sentimental, I don't think it's about us being sentimental. I think we're seeing world-class talent who has very much a role in this team that needs filling.
Yep.
And I think Spurs should definitely try their hardest to bring him in. The only counter argument I can see is that we had him before and things, ended quite badly. If we took that out of the equation, I think it's a no-brainer. But because of that, some people say you should never go back. Sometimes second time round's never as good as you remember it and things like that. But for me, I think if we have this reinvigorated Eriksen that we seem to be seeing right now, I don't see it as even a discussion. We get him through the door if we're able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you got to look at as well is he might want to come back and settle the score and get things over the line and be even more determined to win a trophy for Tottenham. But you look at it now. When he left, Dele was on the way down. Son and Eriksen were still there doing what they do. But now you got Decky, Son, and Kane all firing. And if you need someone to pick out a pass to find them or whatever, I don't think you could go much further than Christian Eriksen. And that's awesome. It brings the desk name back, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Decky, Eriksen, Son, and Kane. So,
and you got to remember as well when he was obviously. He wanted to leave. That was in Pochettino's last season. He had a year left of his contract. He never signed one. He wanted to leave. But you got to remember what was going on at the club. Obviously, we just reached Champions League final, which everyone was disappointed about. But you got to remember, we signed Ndombele, Lo Celso. They haven't worked out at all. He now has a midfield that can work for him. Obviously, he's still a very hard worker. He's actually supplied some of the highest running stats in the league since rejoining Brentford.
And
he consistently, as I said, he consistently did that at Tottenham. So he's always been a player who can do the hard yards. But now he's not doing the extra work that Ndombele and maybe Lo Celso weren't doing for him when he was at Tottenham. Now he's got Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bissouma, Skip, all players who can do the dirty work as much as he can also help out in that department. Obviously, he's not elite in that. He's got players now around him who can do that dirty work for him, get the ball to him, and also he's got a Son and Kane playing at a world-class level. Kane as well, he needs that creative burden taken off him. As much as he's unbelievably creatively, and I think he's really good in the creative department, it also would help if we're not just reliant on Kane for creation. Because all of a sudden, if we have Eriksen there, then Kane can make certain runs that he wasn't doing before.
Correct.
Because he knows a lot of the time he wasn't being found because there's no creativity in the central areas without someone like of Eriksen's ilk. That would help Kane. It would help players like Son with his runs in behind as well. I'm think he would link up really well with Decky on the right-hand side. I think he's versatile as well, can play a bit deeper, I think in that 3-4-3 as well, I could see him in one of those front three positions and one of those number 10s positions. I can see him there as well, potentially if we need him, because they like to play them quite centrally. And 3-5-2 especially. And he gives us tactical flexibility as well. So I'm super excited about a potential Eriksen rejoining.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is when he comes in as well. He hasn't got to learn about Son or Kane's game, has he? It's like hand in glove with those three, and then working with Decky. He's just been sensational. I don't see it's all pluses, isn't it? It really is. And then hopefully we get the Eriksen that's come back. Or like you said, at Brentford, at Denmark, he's done sensational. He's scored on, I think, on every international, or at least played a pivotal goal contribution in every international he's played since he's been back. And it's, like I said, I am now fully in the get Eriksen back camp. It has to be said.
All right, next up, we're going to be talking about another deal that seems to have been progressing over the last week quite significantly, and that's the deal for Richarlison. Also, we brought you that Bruno Andrade last week said Spurs were in advanced talks with Richarlison over a potential €60 million deal last week. Things have gone a bit colder in the last few days in the sense that we haven't got any more updates in the sense that the deal's regressed. However, we do have a few more updates. One of them from Matt Law saying of The Telegraph. He says, Spurs are prepared to offer Harry Winks and Lucas Moura as part of an offer to sign Richarlison, who they value at well over 50 million. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano as well followed up on the story that we spoke about last week, saying that Everton want more than the reported 60 million euros that Spurs are prepared to pay for Richarlison, which I don't think. I think 50. For me, I said before, I think 60 million euros is a fair price. I think for me, the profile of Richarlison. He's 25 years of age. He's Prem proven. He consistently gets over 10 goals in the Premier League. He can play on the left wing. He can play up front. He's a very good quality striker for me. Brazilian international, gets in the Brazil squad, probably going to go to the World Cup. He's a fighter, hard worker. I think he's a real Conte player for me. So I think that price is fair. So anything more than that, I think then you're in the territory of that's way over the odds. A lot of people saying, the 60 million euros is already over the odds. I think it's fair. One more update before we get your opinion, Brian, and that's from UOL Esporte, which is a Brazilian publication. They're claiming Richarlison has turned down a move to Arsenal as he prefers a switch to either Tottenham or Chelsea going to summer. Obviously, Richarlison has been talking to the media on international duty, saying, look, the club know what I want. I've made it clear what I want. I'm not going to say it publicly, but the club know what I want. So I'm pretty sure he's alluding to the fact he wants to leave. Obviously, his 25 years of age, having been at Everton for 4 years, he probably, and I don't know if he ever played in Europe for Everton.
I don't think so.
I don't know if he was there ever in Europe when he was there. But he's going to want to make that step up to Champions League football. I don't think he want to wait any longer to try out to go to Europa League football in the hope that maybe they get Champions League. So I do think there's legs in the fact that Arsenal are interested, but he would rather come to us. But look, Brian, first of all, what do you think of a potential deal money-wise? And if we could include Lucas and Winks in that deal, would that be something you're in favour of?
So the first thing, I like him a little bit more now because he's turned down Arsenal. So he's turned the filth down, so that's always a nice thing to hear. I know where you're going with this, and I understand why people want it. I just don't think he's the work rate and everything, yes. The work rate is undeniable. The yards he puts in, the hard graft, he's a 90-minute run your socks off player. I just think he might not be the one. If he comes, he comes. And we've also got to remember...
You're not a fan of Richarlison?
Do you know what? Some of the stuff he does during the match, I am. But overall, for that amount of money, I think 60... We said, what is it? 60 million euros, which is about
50, yeah, 51 million. Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that's a little too high. But the thing you got to remember as well, with Winks and Moura added into this deal, Winks and Moura could just turn around and say no, and then that kiboshes that deal. You know, I mean, it's good to.
Or you need to add the money. Instead,
exactly. And then if we add the money for them to, because they say no, then it's extortionate for me. But he's one of those players that if he comes for me, he comes. I've seen a lot of Everton fans, tweet on this saying, do you know what? With Richarlison, you really don't know what you've got until you see him. He's one of those players that comes, and the Everton fans love him. They absolutely love him, which is a good indication. But for me, I think maybe look for myself, look elsewhere. But it's one of those, if it happens, it happens. And I'll be delighted to be proved wrong if he does turn good.
For me, I think he's been a standout in, first of all, struggling Watford side. Or I don't know if they got relegated that season, but they were definitely a struggling Watford side. I mean, they're always struggling, that's the truth. But I think it was a standout for them. He then signed, he signed for Everton for 50 million euro, 50 million, I think it was 35 million pounds rising to 50. You could argue they overpaid for him 4 years ago. But he did sign for that amount of money. I think he's consistently been a consistent performer in a very inconsistent side. You've got to remember, Everton, throughout the years, under Ancelotti, under Rafa Benitez, now under Frank Lampard, whoever they've had, under Marco Silva as well, they have just been a side who've been always in crisis, always in trouble, haven't had a footballing identity. They've been struggling sides, and he's always been one to step above, to rise above that. And I think he's been one to actually put in consistent performances. And when they really needed him in a relegation fight last season to step up and be counted, he did that. Scored the winner against Chelsea, scored the goals against Crystal Palace to win that game when they needed him to stay up. I think he's a real king of shithousery.
Yep.
I think he's a hard worker. I think he's super, super talented, great finisher, good dribbler. I think passing creation could do a bit of work, but maybe with better players that will come. So for me, I don't think there are many better players right now who would fit the role that we need to. Could play. Who's also versatile. Can play up front. Could play on the wing. For me, I would love him through the door. I think it would be an excellent signing and Prem proven as well. So I don't see. I think this one would go in the mould of, if we were not to sign him and someone else would get their hands on him, he will be a star in a couple of years, and we'll be thinking, what were we thinking not going for him? I'm telling you right now, you put him in a really good team, he could be a star. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
That part you're saying, I can kind of agree. It's one of those that if you don't, and even me, it might come back to bite me on the arse and say, but I know with the hard work that you saw in the last few games of Everton's awful season, that the work he was putting in and the effort he put in, we just best not put any smoke those things on that he chucked back into the crowd because he'll throw them straight back at us. But yeah, no, he could be a good addition. I just think, like you said, you really want it. I'm kind of one of those that if he comes and I'll support him, and then hopefully he'll do the job that you see. Like I say, do you know what, Simeon? You're right. It's not one of those that I'm saying no at all costs. I just think maybe there's different options out there.
It reminds me a bit when Liverpool was signing Mane, and I remember at the time they paid like 35 million. Everyone was like, "What are they doing?" What for? He was at Southampton. He was quite an inconsistent player at Southampton, and everyone was like, "Oh, they've overpaid for him. He's overpriced. He's not that good. Why are they paying all this money?" And then once he got in a team with better players, he was flying. Yeah. I reckon Richarlison could be very similar. But look,
it's a very good comparison.
Yeah, that's how I see it. And last but not least, we got the deal for Djed Spence, and Matt Law has saying that he expects the deal for Djed Spence to accelerate this week, and he does expect it to happen. Fabrizio Romano saying Antonio Conte's Tottenham rebuild was due to continue with the signing of Djed Spence for Middlesbrough for a fee similar to Bissouma's, which is quite expensive. I see. Matt Law also said that Tottenham don't want to spend more than £10 million up front for Djed Spence, but Middlesbrough are looking for more than that up front. So that's quite interesting. Maybe Tottenham are looking for a deal with add-ons and so forth. But this deal as well looks to be progressing. He played, I think, 2 days ago yesterday for the England under-21s, and he scored an own goal within the first minute. So he definitely proper Spurs. But is this one that you're definitely looking to get over the line? And do you think Djed Spence, at 21 years of age, never played Premier League football in his career, as much as he's clearly a good talent and clearly, you know, you look at his performances in the FA Cup against Premier League sides, clearly he's a talented player. But is he one who will solve our problems at right wing back, do you think?
No. I think he has the potential. As I've been saying, I think this is potential over quality once again. But if you look at the quality we are signing, we weren't all going to buy A-listers. They're all going to slot in immediately. There is going to be the odd one for the future coming in, and I can see him being one for the future. I'm very much like you. You were talking with Ben last week at some point, and I think you had someone on a call as well who was saying that if we get another right back in as well, that's a bit more experienced, Premiership ready, then yeah, it could be a very, very good signing. Or not even Premiership ready, like if it was a Dumfries, for instance, so he could learn from him. I don't think with Champions League football immediately, you never know. He could be like a Danny Rose and find himself and do absolutely brilliantly. If this one gets over the line for me, this is one for the future. And like I said, potential over quality for this one. But if it happens, it happens. As a young English one, I actually didn't realise he was only 21. I thought he was a couple of years older.
No, he's very young.
So that's listen. For me, he's got the attributes of a Conte player. He's got the build. He's got the stamina. He's got the physique. So if they're key attributes that Conte wants, then you bring him in, and we see where we go with him. But I think there's better out there. But if it happens, it's another young English talent that comes into the club. With what we're signing already, we can't expect to sign every single player Premiership ready if they come. So this is a position
bring in the experience of Perisic as well, levels that out a bit.
And this is a position, if you remember, we're trying to get right since Carl Walker. Carl Walker, that we have not had a solid. Trippier was already there, but he's gone, obviously.
I think Trippier will probably work better now than he would under Poch, actually.
I think he would as well. I think Aurier bloody well would as well.
Yeah.
But let's not bring him back. But if Spence is the road we're going down, then that's the road we go down. It's a 21-year-old, and we'll see what he can do.
Yeah. But would you be worried if we did just sign Spence, and then obviously maybe we sold one of Emerson and Doherty, and that's what we were going forward with?
We'll be a little worried.
Because I would as well. Actually, Emerson's been talking to the media, and he's saying that he wants to. he's still looking at his future with Tottenham, and he wants to be a legend at Tottenham. He said.
Oh, really?
Emerson said that. So he doesn't seem to be one that looks to be on the move anytime soon. Obviously, Doherty's got that long-term injury.
Yep.
So it would be a bit worrying that if we were to sign Spence, then and we go into the season, let's say with one of Doherty or Emerson, then we're either relying on Spence to make that step up seamlessly, which he might do, but also he might take time, and then we're relying on either Doherty, who I agree had a brilliant run of form between February and April before getting that injury, but he got a very bad injury, like a really bad one. So how long he's going to take to get back to his best, that level, because it took him a long time to get to show that level.
It did.
So how long it will take him to get to that level again is a question. Then Emerson, to be fair to him, he had a very good end to the season, so I'm not going to bash him too much, but whether he's ever going to be what we want from a right wing back is also very questionable. So are there just too many question marks there?
For me, I mean, Emerson's form happened just as Cody Mack got the shirt, so Cody has to wear it like my grey shirt that I wear every game. This, like I said, we go back to this. Carl Walker was the last solid right back we had, a great right back, and we know how important wing backs are to Conte. They are pivotal to his team, and I just think, if you were to say, let's just say Doherty, I think's out. Is he back for training at the start of the season, or is it a little bit later?
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Let's put it this way: he ain't going to be match fit until about November if it's the summer, and obviously a little bit later if it's Christmas with the World Cup. So yeah, I would be worried if it was just Emerson and Spence. But like I said, Spence could hit the ground running.
Yeah, and then
Emerson, after a year under his belt with Spurs, could come back and carry on where he left off. But it would be a question mark for me on that position.
I do worry, though, a bit in terms of hoping Spence hits the ground running. But then all of a sudden, if, like, say, he does take a couple months to get either first will get used to Conte's system or just to make the step up from Championship to Premier League on a regular basis, playing week in, week out. And if he doesn't do that immediately, well, then all the fans will be getting on his back. Oh, he's not good enough. This guy, we should never have signed him. And is that fair to put that kind of pressure on a very young player? And, Emerson's already... he's only a year older than Spence, and he's been under like that kind of pressure from last season, fairly or unfairly. That's reality. So I don't know if that's why I'd want to bring in another more experienced head who's gonna be more sure of going to be playing at right wing back. But whether we'll do that, have to wait and see. That is it for the Spence deal. Just quickly can we go back to the Eriksen deal? There's just one thing I want to go through with Eriksen because there has been a few quotes coming out from Christian Eriksen talking to Danish media. Eriksen, not Richarlison. So Eriksen, the quotes are, he was speaking to the Danish publication on BT Sport, and he says, I asked if it's hard to make a decision going for his future. He said, I don't know why it's hard to make a decision. Maybe because you need the last thing in order to find out what you want. It's really hard to say what the outcome will be. Sometimes it can happen fast. Other times it's slow. You're not always a master of your own faith. It also depends what the possibilities are in terms of clubs. And then you have to make a decision for that. For me, it's about making the right decision. I'm going on holiday and I will be relaxing a bit. We're going to go swimming and get a little tan and eat some nice food. I'll have my cell phone turned on. I know my agent well enough and he'll call me if anything interesting comes along. If not, he won't call me. So would you like? And obviously, it's that he's not really giving anything away.
No.
But some people may be reading that thinking that means Tottenham haven't quite made a move yet based on that. But do you think maybe he's just assessing his options before finally making a decision? It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, you said it as well. What I saw yesterday is Man U are making a serious attempt to get him. I personally think his heart's set on Spurs. And that could be when he said, I'm waiting for the phone to ring if anything interesting comes up. That could be just let me know if Spurs come in. It could be something completely different, but I think his heart is set on Spurs. He'll go into the club, but he's come back, had a wonderful second half of the season, and now he gets to spend some time with his family. I mean, I'm surprised he even said to have his phone turned on. I thought he was going to say I have my phone turned off.
Oh, he needs a new club.
Yep, but obviously he could call his wife's phone. But never mind. But yeah, I think he just wants to go away, take a break. I think he's really wanted Spurs. He knows London. He hasn't got to get used to Manchester. He hasn't got to do anything. I know Chelsea are there, but I don't think he would choose Chelsea. I just don't think for his loyalty or anything. I just couldn't see him choosing Chelsea.
We have an update on the Djed Spence
Here we
deal
go.
as of 30 seconds ago. So let's bring that up again. This is coming from David Ornstein of The Athletic. He is obviously very, very reliable source. And the update is as follows. Djed Spence has expressed a preference to sign for Tottenham this summer as negotiations continue between Middlesbrough and Tottenham Hotspur over a fee. No agreement so far. Talks are ongoing, and the 21-year-old favours Spurs ahead of other suitors. So that is the update from David Ornstein as of 30 seconds ago regarding the Djed Spence deal. Seems like we've stolen ahead of the competition when it comes to convincing him to come to Tottenham. Sounds like he wants the deal, which you know, considering what he was saying at the end of the season about him really wanting to be at Nottingham Forest next season and stuff like that, because you know they gave him the chance and obviously other teams were in for him. Now it seems Tottenham definitely have convinced him to come, and it's all about whether we can get that fee agreed with Middlesbrough to get the deal done. So that's really, really positive.
That is exceedingly positive. Like we said, I personally thought he would be going to Forest. That's what I was worried about, because obviously he did say that at the beginning and he wanted to be loyal to Forest after giving him his chance. But it looks like we've stolen a race. Where it says no fee yet to be agreed, you got to remember on Friday this broke, we were in advanced stages of the talks. So obviously, I think it's more into the, like you said, they want more than 10 million originally. Was it 10 million you said we offered?
10 million up front.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's where the stumbling block, isn't it? So it looks like this deal will go ahead. It's just got to be a deal more that favours Middlesbrough than us.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what the price will look like. There's obviously some people saying 15 million. Some people like Romano saying it's going to be closer to Bissouma's fee. I would assume it would be around 15 plus add-ons.
Yep.
Well, if he plays a certain amount of games or does some amount of things, get Champions League football and stuff, maybe the add-ons will come. Tottenham definitely like to be incentive based in those kind of deals. But look, sounds like he wants the move. That was always one of the questions, whether he
it's another hurdle over, isn't it?
That's another hurdle. So look, very, very very, very exciting. It sounds like the Djed Spence deal accelerating, but we need to get that fee agreed with Middlesbrough first. We will be taking callers shortly, so do call in if you want to have your say on all the potential transfer business that we have been talking about. But let's run through some super chats before we do that. First of all, it's from I Miss Wanyama. He says, good to see us getting deals done early. Is the calendar on Levy's computer set to August and not June? If so, it's another Paratici masterclass. I think it's all about an FM when you just go forward to, I always go on holiday for like 2 months and come back in August when they're all early July when the window's open. Yeah, look, I'm delighted that we're getting deals done early. I think it's really good news. And I think that it's only positive and it's what everyone wanted. So I'm very, very happy that we're getting this deal done very early on. Danny Kiriakou, big up to the bun. Big up to Danny. He says, big up, boys. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Bissouma, 25 million equals wow.
Yep.
Very exciting.
He loves him. Danny absolutely loves Bissouma. We were talking about it last night. He is probably one of the most happiest men in North London right now.
Yeah, and rightly so, because Bissouma is an absolute fantastic signing. Ryan Isaacs Kennard.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Oh, it's his birthday.
It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Ryan. He says, Spurs giving me the best birthday present, but I'm greedy. Go and improve the depth in the attacking three. Of course, we all want more. There's never enough, especially for Conte. If anyone wants more, it's Antonio Conte, trust me. Sabas Wolf 28, he says 60 million a fair price. I think he's talking about Richarlison. Yep. He says 60 million a fair price for a player with 1 year left on his contract. I think it's way too much. 35 million max. First of all, 60 million euros, and second of all, he has 2 years left on his contract.
Oh, is it 2 years?
Yeah, it's not 1 year. So it's not quite that clear cut. But I don't like, if you're talking with 35 million euros, there's no chance we get him for that much. You have to pay up, I think, if you want to get him through the door, and that's just reality. I think £51 million is a fair price, I think.
Would you reckon with that, as we've been talking, Simeon, it would be 51 up front, or it would need to be?
Yeah, it'll be bonus. It'll always be clauses and all these kind of things, and
Champions League.
Not just that, it'll be like delayed payments, all these things. Always.
So it won't be just 51 bang.
No, that's how every deal's structured. So I don't think it would be 51 million up front. Ryan Isaacs Kennard again says, happy birthday to me. Bissouma is a great gift, but I want more. Improve the front three depth. 100%, I agree with that. Hopefully we get someone like a Richarlison or Jesus or something like that. Ave Master, who's been a member for 5 months, big up to you, says, great show, lads. Great news today. Can't wait to see more later down the line. Come on, you Spurs. And Cody Mack, member for 16 months. Big up to Cody, says, we must trust the club have done their due diligence on the Bissouma legal situation. They would never not do that. Congratulations to Ben and Ashley. Thank you, Cody, for those congratulations. I agree. I think at this point you just have to hope that they have done that they know what they're doing. Tottenham. They wouldn't look to sign a player who's under those investigations as serious as Bissouma if they really thought there was a chance he's guilty of those crimes. So we have to trust the club that that's the case. All right, so that is all the super chats. Do send more if you want to have your opinions heard. Let's now get some callers on, and we will start with the one, the only Kyle Patrick Vineyard. Let's get KPV on. How are we doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
KPV, good to see you, my man.
What's up, Kyle?
Good to see you back again. Yes, Brian, how you doing, mate?
All good, brother. All good, my man.
Good.
Kyle, what's your reaction to the potential Bissouma deal?
I've actually been wanting him for a long time, so I think it's good, but I heard it was 30 million as well, we agreed. 30 million in what, total something? 25 but 30 it's been added up to.
Maybe it's plus add-ons and stuff, but do you really do you believe he improves our midfield?
Yeah, I think he does. Like, we've got Bentancur, who's done quite well since we got him, but I think he improves our midfield. Like, I like him. I know he's still under investigation after what he's done, but like, he improved our midfield. I like the guy, but yeah, he improved. That's what I'm saying.
So, Carl, out of the four, let's just say Bissouma is now a Spurs player. Bissouma, Skip, Højbjerg, Bentancur. If we're playing two in the middle, what's your dream partnership?
I'm going to say this, and there's no question, but Bentancur and Højbjerg for me.
Okay, so you stick with what we've been playing for the most part of the second half of the season?
Yeah, mate, but if they were to get injured, then I'd go for Skip and Bissouma, if those two were to get injured. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, nice. Yeah, and in terms of the other potential deals, like Eriksen and Richarlison, what ones would you like to see get done?
Like, I'd say Richarlison, but I know, 60 million is a bit too high, but, like, Brazil, obviously, Richarlison, Emerson and Lucas, I know, like, I hear the Lucas Moore and Wink could be added into the swap deal. Like, we don't normally do business with Everton, but we already have for, Delhi. But why not? Richarlison can play left wing, but let's be honest, he's not going to start ahead of Sonny, is he?
No.
No,
but look, we have a lot of games, don't we? So we need a squad.
Yeah, and apparently I saw that our fixtures have been leaked, and we could have Brentford on the opening day, but they come out Thursday, the fixtures.
They do. So we have to wait and see on that one, Kyle.
But, yeah, and I done a poll on Twitter yesterday, Brian. Who would you take, Richarlison or Gabriel Jesus? Who would you take?
Well, I know I voted on that, and I said Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, but I'd probably say, take both. But Jesus, I know some people might not like him, but I know he scored against us once, and that was when they got 100 points a couple of seasons ago. But I don't mind Gabriel Jesus. Why not? I like him. But, apparently I saw yesterday that Robbie from FTV wants the deal done, but do one, Robbie. You're not going to get more Brazilian players. We've had more than you'll ever know, mate. get over it. This is Tottenham TV, not We Are AFTV. This is Tottenham only, mate. And first of all, I just want to say congrats to Ben and Ash for getting out Sunday. Congrats.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. I'll make sure he gets the message. I'm sure he's watching. So, yeah,
sure you're
don't
watching,
worry.
Ben.
The message he'll receive loud and clear. Kyle,
Yeah.
it's great to have you on as always, mate. Good to see you. And we'll
Yeah.
speak to you in a bit.
See you, mate.
See you
Bye.
soon, Carl, buddy.
Back content.
Back content. That seems to be what we're doing. A couple more super chats. First of all, from Jamie Kern says, "God bless Paratici. 25 million for Bissouma. Wow." And a super chat from my grandpa.
Oh, big up.
Big up, Grandpa. He says, "What a change deals done earlier instead of waiting to the end and saving millions or so." From proud Grandpa Brian. And I think it's very, very big change. And maybe it's a change in approach that we're looking to get deals done as quickly as possible, get them in early so we can have them for pre-season so they're ready to go instead of always in the first few games, you know,
Yep.
we're struggling to get into the season and whatnot. So, look, I think that's absolutely spot on. A proper pre-season with all our signings and Antonio Conte, and we're going to be raring to go when the season starts.
I think you're right, and I think it's now time that we start talking about someone who there's been a huge change in this, and it's not just Conte. I think Paratici is showing now, like he's had his year under the belt, he's done what he needs to do for the first year, and there is a cosmic change into the, or cosmic, whatever word you want to use, change into the way we are doing business. And Paratici's got to take a lot of credibility for this, and a lot of the plaudits that are coming his way. Like I said, I haven't called him Don yet, but he's edging closer. He is edging. This is the summer where it's like, right, you've been here for a year, now go to work and get what we need with the manager that we all want, and things are happening. Things are happening. So Paratici deserves a hell of a lot of credit right now.
And we just have to look. Everything right now for Spurs is in place.
Yep.
Like there is nothing right now where you're looking and you're thinking. Look, the only thing that obviously, look, we haven't won trophies for a while and stuff like that. But in terms of where the club is at, in terms of the profile of the club, what the tools the club has, money financially, in terms of the training facilities, in terms of the stadium, in terms of the manager, in terms of a backbone in like Lloris, Kane, Son, like players who've been there a while, there is everything there needed to push forward and actually start competing for big things. There's no need for Tottenham to be under any sort of inferiority complex anymore in terms of being able to compete for players in the market, being able to bring players in who we need to improve, and we shouldn't be scared to say that we want to challenge for big things. And there's no reason going to next season we shouldn't be confident that we can really challenge for major honours next season if we can get this summer right. And that's the key thing. If we can get this summer right, we can close the gap. And I think I saw a video. I'm not saying, look, I'm not, obviously, if I say, yeah, we're going to overtake Liverpool and City, look, that sounds deluded. But, you know, the season when Liverpool... the season before Liverpool are finally in a title race.
Yep.
When Bale scored 2 in the final against them they lost the Champions League final. Obviously they spent the money right, but the gap that season between them and City was about 25 points.
Yep.
And then one good summer and the gap shrunk to about 1 point.
Yep.
So they can happen. If you get it right, if you get your recruitment right and you give the manager time and all that kind of stuff, that gap can be closed.
Yep.
And it's not impossible. And just because our name happens to be Tottenham Hotspur doesn't mean we're immune to getting things right. So, I mean, it does seem that way. But maybe if we can get things right, big things can happen next season. I think signings like Bissouma are definitely in the right direction.
Do you know what? Everything you said, I completely, wholeheartedly agree with it. It can be brought down, and if this is all going ahead and we get this, we can certainly close this gap. We can certainly close this gap because there'll be quality to replace quality. You'll be able to have squad rotation if need be. You'll be able. There is very positive things coming out of Tottenham, and you're right. These gaps can be closed. Look how far we were ahead of Liverpool when we had that sliding door moment as well. And then look how far their gap has gone. So
all obviously Liverpool and City are much better sides than us.
Yep.
But the main thing, apart obviously they've had the investment over us, but another main thing is time.
Yep.
Pep and Klopp have got that team to a position where everyone knows what they are doing.
correct.
Like to the nth degree. Like structurally, tactically, they can do it with their eyes closed at this point. That team. Conte needs that time, and he's had good amount of time. And he showed even the short space time. He got us a top 4, unbelievable.
Yep.
And let's see what he can do next season.
Exactly.
Couple more super chats before we get our next caller on. Matthew Piggott says, can Richarlison play backup striker to Kane? Yes, he can. I believe he's played up front many times for Everton. I don't think, for me, striker's his best position. I do like him a bit more out wide, a bit more off the left. I think he's a lot better when he's cutting inside and doing that kind of stuff. But he can definitely fill in.
So
Back up for Kane. Or what we could do is, if we want to give Kane a rest, put Son up top and play Richarlison off the left.
my only part that I don't think the question should be can he. It's more of a case of will he. Will he be prepared to come and be a bench player? Will he be prepared to not start every game? That's the big question with me with Richarlison. I think he may want to go where he's guaranteed first team football. That's the only thing I say about that super chat. For me, it's more of not can he, it's will he.
Yeah. But the thing is, you got to remember next season 5 subs.
Yep.
All coming in.
Yep.
Champions League football as well, European football, and we obviously all the cups, League Cup, FA Cup. There's a lot of football to be played. Kane and Son are approaching 30 now in age. They have to manage their minutes now. They can't. Kane played pretty much every minute last season, apart from the first couple games. He was playing every minute of games, and apparently he was playing a lot of that. A lot of those minutes in the danger zone in terms of being at risk to injury and stuff. We can't afford to do that anymore, especially with his age
completely
increasing. We have to start managing these players better. So if we do sign a player of the quality of Richarlison, he will get game time. I don't think he's getting 30-40%. I think he's getting more. I think every game he's going to be brought on with at least half an hour to go. Champions League, he'll be getting starts. League games. Let's say we have a big Champions League game. You start him in the league then. And then we play Kane and Son in the Champions League.
Yep.
There will be plenty of game time for Richarlison. And I think he is that good that I don't think... Obviously, he's not as good as Kane and Son, but I don't think the quality drop-off will be that dramatic that we would notice it as much as we would nowadays. So I think... I don't think it's a case of... And also, as much as he's great, not now as good as Kane or Son, we think... Who knows what we might think of him in a year's time?
Yeah, like you said, the one thing I will say that I think you're winning me over with is his age. I didn't realise he was as young as 25.
Yeah.
You got a bit of longevity there. You got someone that will be there if and when one of these two phenomenons go. So yeah, there are a few more pluses I've picked up on today. Still, I will go up, but you're starting to win me over. By the end of the week, I'll probably be wearing a Richarlison sandwich or something. But yeah, so. We'll see. It's exciting times.
And last one from the Perchy. Big up to you. He
Perchy.
says, how are you boys? We are finally acting like a big football club. The Conte era is sweet, isn't it? My Malian masterpiece. Big up to you. And look, the Conte era is definitely going well at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got Champions League football, great, but we have to hopefully, unlike the Pochettino era where the kind of just getting consistent Champions League football is the pinnacle, which was great, and we probably took it for granted at the time. Hopefully, under Conte, it's just the start as opposed to the end.
Completely.
And let's hope we keep pushing on. And hopefully, by the end of the Conte era, we'll be saying that will go down in history as the best Tottenham era of all time. But let's get our next guest on. We have Ryan,
the birthday boy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you. I think we're almost as good as the Oasis cover band.
Yeah,
I think our X Factor for us next week.
Ryan, what a birthday present for you, my friend. Bissouma deal agreed. Djed Spence deal looks to be moving on nicely. Give me your thoughts.
Brian knows my thoughts because I messaged him straight away the minute Bissouma was agreed, and I was like, similar to him, he's someone we've needed for a very long time. Incredible sign. Sorry, I'm at work as well, so you might hear some trains over the top of me. So hopefully, it'll only be a couple each time coming through. But yeah, it's good business, smart business, acting like a big club, finally backing a world-class manager. Everything you want, and it's a lovely day. The sun's shining. It's a perfect time to be a Tottenham fan at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think Bissouma brings to our midfield that maybe we're lacking for you? Oh, is he frozen? No, he's still there. Still there? Yeah, go on. We can hear you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, bit of everything really. Kind of Dembele. Kind of reminds me of Dembele. The way that the strength, you won't be able to get the ball off him. For me, his perfect partner would be a bit like how Dembele and Wanyama had that really strong partnership in the 17-18 season. I think someone, or even the year before, final year at the Lane, but I think him and Skip would work very well together, or even him and Bentancur. I don't see Hoy. I think Højbjerg will be the one that would be more of the rotation rather than starting many games. I think he'll be used more sporadically, as a squad player. But yeah, Bissouma is a certain start. You don't pay 25 mil for someone of that quality to be put on the bench. So it's really Bissouma and or Skip or Bentancur that will be partnering him, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, for that price, it's an absolute steal, isn't it? 25 million. You'd think that a player of that quality, you would usually command, with the likes of Ward-Prowse and Calvin Phillips, demanding 50, 60 million. To get someone of Bissouma's quality for 25 million, I know he's only got 1 year left on his contract, but it's an absolute steal, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 year not being English as well always helps. Because the reason, it's not just the English, here comes another train, but it's not just the English... being English that ups the price up. It's because they know that English clubs, they need to fill their homegrown quotas. So that's why probably English players do add that extra 15, 20 mil on top. But yeah, it was an incredible buy, incredible bit of business. Don Paratici doing what we brought him in for a year ago. And at the moment, we still need a few more additions. Obviously, Djed Spence is getting closer and closer. We still need that left centre back sorted, guys. Pau Torres, Bastoni. Bastoni's not dead in the water yet, but you don't know because obviously I think it was it his agent or was it the director of football in? So obviously he came over to London last weekend, wasn't it, or a couple of days ago? So Bastoni deal might not be dead in the water. Heard reports today also that PSG are no longer interested in Milan Skriniar, so Inter Milan need to get rid of players. So if it comes to it, they will maybe just have to bulk up and sell Bastoni.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you heard that. I heard that they're waiting until the end of the month with Bastoni. They're seeing if they can get 60 mil that they need to get elsewhere, and then if they can't, then Bastoni will. The deal will take on a more progression with us. That's what they're waiting for. And I think with Skriniar now not being interested with PSG, it's only going to strengthen the Bastoni deal because there's no other big players really going out there, is there?
Yeah, exactly. So unless they're going to get rid of Martinez, and I think they're more wanting to keep Martinez than they are Bastoni. So when you're looking about how they're going to drum up money, Bastoni does seem like the most likely. If it's not going to be Skriniar, it does seem Bastoni will be the most likely candidate to leave. So I wouldn't completely rule out just yet, although the fact that they have gone so public with him staying does obviously make it look like there's less possibility. But they're obviously going to go strong, aren't they? They want the best fee, won't they? They're not going to publicly say they're getting rid because that weakens their negotiation leverage. So look, I wouldn't completely give up on Bastoni just yet, although I do want us to move on to other targets if it definitely isn't happening. Ryan, what about the... and Ryan has gone.
It doesn't just happen to me.
No, you're not the only one. Look, Ryan, appreciate... is he come back?
There he is.
All right, it's getting back. Hi, Ryan.
Sorry, I lost, it's my phone. I'm on my phone. I'm not on my computer.
No worries. On the potential Richarlison and Eriksen deals, what's your opinions on them?
Eriksen, get him in ASAP. There's no player around in Europe that is available right now that is as good as what he can do on a football on a sixpence. It allows Kane to go back to his normal self before Mourinho moulded him into this playmaker kind of role and striker, but it just takes the weight off Kane's shoulders. So Eriksen has to be done. Richarlison, people know my thoughts on this. I don't particularly want Richarlison at Spurs, not for 60, 70 million, especially the fact I'd be looking somewhere else. Look, I know Inter won't sell Lautaro Martinez, that's probably out the way, but there's definitely got to be some players available. I think the striking, left wing striker, some that can almost wait till nearer the end of the window. Just because, just throw a late deal out there because Levy loves it, just to keep him happy. But yeah, just focus on that left centre back and create midfielder, get those bits of business done. And if something comes out the wayside, where we can get for them Richarlison, then do it. I think Richarlison, and even obviously last week got the links of St Maximan. I think those are more smoke screens. So we'll see. But English quota, guys, we do need to, if we're getting rid of Winks and we're getting rid of Tanganga, Rodon, we're going to need to fill our home quota, guys. It's a big issue. So it wouldn't surprise me if we look at someone, again, if John McGinn crops up, someone like him, someone like someone that's a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, even that's one that could potentially. I know he's linked with Arsenal and all that, but if we decide
you'd probably have to spend more on Dominic Calvert-Lewin than you would on Richarlison.
Possibly, but big clubs act like big clubs. Even if you want to.
But why would you rather Calvert-Lewin than Richarlison?
I'm not saying that I want them, but it's just that we've got to be able to keep it, because what you don't want to do is sign all these top European players that played in the Premier League but aren't part of the homegrown quota, and not being able to register them in the Champions League, because you need 8 homegrown players. So you don't want to be just playing them in the Premier League or whatever, because they would have came to Spurs for Champions League football. Bissouma's come to play in the Champions League and to play with Conte.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, the one thing I will say on that is when it comes to getting the deal, I think we're trying to get deals done now, because I think the club is still hell-bent on Bastoni. I honestly, I still think that deal's going through, but it's going through at the end of the month, so that's why they're trying to fill everything else in. But when it comes to other strikers, I was speaking on Sean Butler's show yesterday, I'd even go for a Dennis from Watford and go for a cheaper option, so you got more money to beef up on that defence. Because let's face it, Richarlison, you're saying, but at least Dennis comes in, he's powerful, he's quick. He was doing bits with Watford, and then literally with a Conte in this system.
Here's another one for you. I know we don't do business with them, but he did have a very, very good loan spell at Southampton last year, and that's Broja from Chelsea. He would come in as homegrown. He's come through their academy, so he would class as homegrown.
Yeah, that's
or even someone like
Chelsea.
Shay Adams at Southampton. Shay Adams, I've always liked him. I remember when he scored a brace against us in the League Cup semi-final for Sheffield United, and I always thought this guy is a very good player. So I'd take Shay Adams from Southampton. There's plenty of homegrown players that we can get, not for big money, that would bulk up the squad, because that's what we've always had a decent, excellent 11. It's all about finding the nucleus of a full squad where you can rotate around, because Kane was playing, FA Cup ties, playing full 90 minutes. It's not good for his fitness, to be.
Oh, he's gone again. Look, I think we're going to have to move on. But Ryan, appreciate you calling in. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And happy birthday to you, Ryan. Hopefully you having a great day. Let's move on. We have the Jory call, if he's ready to come on. Please give us a thumbs up, Jory.
I'm ready.
He's ready. All right, let's bring him on.
What's that, Jory?
Jory!
Hey guys, say hi to my daughter, by the way, Anna.
Hello, Anna.
Hey, Anna.
Live on YouTube. How are we doing, Jory? You okay? You looking fly?
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Look, today has been some great day for some potential news and transfers moving forward. Tottenham finally look to be moving very quickly with their transfer business with the deal agreed for Yves Bissouma. Medical apparently due this week. Djed Spence apparently has chosen Tottenham as well, so that deal looks to be moving forward. And Tottenham also reportedly quietly confident of getting Eriksen through the door, and there's a potential deal for Richarlison as well. So first of all, let's get your reaction to the Bissouma news. What's your opinion? Are you happy about that deal, and do you think he's exactly what we need for our midfield?
I think it's an amazing deal. I think, like you said, 25 is an absolute steal for him. For me, like when we lost against Brighton, it was Bissouma owned that victory more than anyone in my view. The way he dominated us in midfield, which was what I feared before the game. I think many of us understood how key Bissouma was in that team, and with all due respect to Brighton, the idea of putting Bissouma now into a Tottenham team just like gives me all kinds of tingly feelings. So, yeah.
Jory,
I love it.
Who's your dream two? If it goes through, who's your dream two out of the four we have at the moment to be starting that midfield two?
So I think I was listening to you guys talking about. I think the way Conte operates, I think Conte will pair up two, and they will always kind of be the two unless there's, some injuries or some special cases. I think actually Eriksen is going to be the more utilitarian, the guy that's going to be jumping in and we're going to mix it up against. I could imagine maybe a Bentancur Bissouma partnership, and then Bentancur being the more offensive of the two, maybe. Or even, they can both do a job there, but that's maybe my first kind of a reaction. And then Højbjerg and Skip, because they've got so many minutes together anyway, and then Højbjerg might actually go into the more offensive role there, because he's been doing quite well in a Danish team like that. So, but I think it's also like it gives us so many options. I mean, not that Conte is one to play around with mixing it up all the time, So I'm interested. I'm not sure what's it gonna be, but there's really no version of this midfield that I don't like, So it's all happy.
Yeah, it really gives us a lot of variation now, doesn't it? And
yeah.
In terms of Bissouma and the profile of a midfielder he is, what do you think he might bring to this midfield that we don't already possess in terms of qualities?
I think, the way I look at it, it's like Bissouma. I'm seeing Winks is going to go out in this Everton deal. And then I look at Bissouma as a Winks upgrade, really. Mm-hmm. He's the box-to-box type of player, and he's going to be linking. He's quite good at progressive passes and stuff like that. Then I think he's going to be he's defensively safe and very solid, but he's got a lot of offensive capability as well. So I do think he's going to be a ball-carrying, progressive passing type midfielder, and he's going to be one of those transitional players, So yeah. Mm. Another thing is also we might be going to a five in the middle now, So then it becomes like tons of new options, You can see a Bissouma and Højbjerg, and then Eriksen, as the creator in the middle, something like that, So a lot of options are opening up now, and the speed at which we're doing these deals is also making me very happy. It's quite amazing to see our club act like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because as we were saying, the transfer window is not even a week old, and we seem to be moving very, very fast, aren't we? And how important is that for you, that we seem to be getting the message that getting deals done early is best for the club and for the manager to have time with the players instead of always continually waiting till the last minute, and then we're always in this cycle of not being ready for the season, and then the players are only finally getting to grips with the way we want to play and all this stuff like halfway through the season, and all these kind of things. Maybe we're finally getting that message, and maybe that's something that Conte's always said, isn't it?
Exactly, and I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see how Conte now is really ripping this club apart and getting all the deadwood out, and especially that's going to make huge difference in everything now, you know. So you got Greta Steinarsson is now going to be your academy guy, I think, or our academy guy. And he's got quite a good reputation. So, but I think it's like as happy as I am with the squad and all of that, I think Conte and Paratici, it's institutional. They're changing the institution of Tottenham in express time right now, and I have to say also, Brian being there, it's fitting to maybe bring this up, you know. I have to say that with all the tricks that Levy has played on us through the years, I would say to Levy, this is your best trick. If you're now doing the trick where you're backing Conte to make it look like you're backing the right manager at the right time, good on you, Levy. This is the best trick, and keep it up, you know, because it's working and it's going to make this club what it's supposed to be. I think also the speed of the business that we're doing and the firm commitment to certain players like we've often seen before in windows before. It's like we talk about this one, and then, you know, money gets talked about or whatever. Then we start talking about another one because Levy doesn't want to pay the money or whatever, you know. So here we see the same names coming up again and again, and money starts being talked about. We still talk about Djed Spence. We still talk about, like you said, Bastoni. I think Bastoni is one that's going to come in as well. I think it's a lot of PR stuff as well from Bastoni's camp. You know, he wants to make sure that he won't be hated for leaving as well. You know, so that I mean, that makes me really happy that where this, like, it's not about, you know, going to the bargain bins and trying to find something that you might not even need, you know, like we've been a little bit like that, you know. Now it's what we need. Okay, this is what we need. Who are the best who are serving those needs the best? Okay, these are the guys, and we're going straight for them, you know. That's beautiful to see. So yeah, and I mean, this is the fear of Conte that's been put into the club, I think, on all levels, you know. So
yeah, it's very, very exciting, isn't it? One other thing I want to get your opinion on, Jory, is the potential Richarlison deal, because it's split of a bit of opinion between the fans about whether he's too expensive, whether actually he would be a fantastic buy for the club. What's your opinion on whether you would want him to join?
So I think, like most of us, I think that's the price tag is way too high. Like there's a lot of problems. For example, he's also kind of, as I understand it, he's a left like he's going to be mainly doing stuff on the left side, right? So we're being linked with a lot of left stuff these days, you know. And I actually have a theory about that. I think Conte has found this brilliant new system where he's moved the right wing completely out of the pitch, and he's made 2 left wings instead, and that's what we're going to go with. So,
exactly.
But no, I think he's hot-headed. I think what I've seen of him, he's dim-witted. and he's too pricey. So I don't know about the hot-headed and the dim-witted. You know, we've got some very intelligent players now in our squad. I don't know. If Conte wants it, I'm happy with it. I think 60 million for me, we're getting Rafinha. I would take Rafinha 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 over Richarlison.
But why? They're very similar. Like
no, because he's a better winger. Huh? He's a better winger, and he's on the right. So he's a better winger. He's a much better player in my book. He's a better winger, and he's on the right. You know, so.
My next question to Jory was going to be, if not Richarlison, then who? And I think he's going to say Rafinha.
Yeah.
But Richarlison could play up front as well. He's a bit more versatile in that sense. And Richarlison's proven it over the last 4 or 5 years that he can consistently get goals in the Premier League, whereas Rafinha has done it last season. Or was it 2 seasons in a row now? But I don't know. Like, I don't know why people would be that much more certain on Rafinha. They're both the same age.
I'm not certain. It's just the eye test. I think like Rafinha is something special when you watch him, you know, whereas Richarlison's not that, but he's good. I don't deny that. And like if Conte wants it, I'm happy with it. And if it turns out to be like, let's say, 30 mil or 20 or 15 mil and Lucas and Winks to Everton, so be it. I'm fine with that. As much as I love Lucas, I also understand that maybe his time to leave is coming up now. So and he's not been a good fit in Conte's system. So like I think if Conte is confident that he can take the negative out of him, because he's shown some really bad tendencies. I think like the event where he refused to give the ball on the penalty and so on, like that shows immaturity way beyond your years, you know. So that worries me a little bit, because we have just gotten rid of all our bad eggs, you know. We have shipped out the ones that were causing negativity in the clubhouse. So I can see where in his mind he's not playing enough games or the right games or something, and he starts being a problem. But maybe I'm just reading into the hype. I don't know. Maybe it's not like that.
For me, I just see a fighter. I just see a fighter who wants best for his team.
Well. I see a heavy duty fighter for sure. And I guess that's what Conte. Maybe Conte wants to balance our more kind of intelligent, sensitive, not too feisty players with more of a feisty. You know, maybe he's trying to make some kind of a good cocktail there in the clubhouse. I don't know. I completely trust Conte in that regard. I just think, you know, for me the price tag is high. But if it means that we can get Winks and then also maybe Lucas out, and then it's maybe 10, 15 at the most 20 minutes. I wouldn't even think 20 if it's these two. Then it would be fine by me, you know. And like, don't get me wrong, I think he has a lot of potential. I do agree he's going to be a lot better in our team than he's been in Everton and so on. But you know, it's like once you're spending that kind of money, I just think there's a lot of options out there in that regard, you know. And also for me, I'm more concerned about the right wing than you know, a backup striker or you know, left. We don't really need more left wings action really, but once again, Conte knows best, you know. So if we're going to go for it, I trust it completely. I'm going to back it completely. But it's maybe the deal that I'm the least excited for. Yeah.
All right, Jory, good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
Likewise.
Always a pleasure,
Always
buddy.
a great call, mate.
Give each other a hug from me, all right?
We'll do.
We'll do.
Okay, bye.
All right, nice one, Jory. Always good to get his thoughts. Let's go for a few more super chats. First from Essa Al Shamari, says, morning, afternoon. I think I think signing Eriksen is a no-brainer. It adds depth and creativity to the squad. Plus, he's free. It's an absolute no-brainer. I completely agree. Wolves FI says Spurs under Conte is cooking. We definitely are, and we're cooking up something special, I think.
Yep.
My T fam says, "Come on, you Spurs. We need to see a few out the door too." Yeah, that will come, but I'm glad we're not waiting.
Yep,
as
this
we
is the
usually
thing.
do.
This is, do you know what it is that I've been very open with saying this. I've hated that we've waited to get the players out before we start bringing the players in, like we did with Eriksen when we wanted Fernandes. I was sick and tired of that, and it looks like again we're doing it the other way around, which is a huge show of intent.
Agreed. Jamie Cooper with a super chat with no message, but thank you, Jamie. Jeff Tottenham says, "Evening, guys. Hope all is well. Things are going well, thank you, and I'm very happy with how things are going today." Rajesh Sharma says, "Come on, you Spurs. We're going for the quad next season. Everyone in white." Love it, love it. Yep. Absolutely love it. And Kirst, big up to Kirst, says, "Congratulations to Ben and Ashley. Big up to you, Kirst. Thank you for the message." And I'm sure Ben's watching, so he would have heard it. But thank you for that. All right, next up, we have got another big guest. We have the one, the only, Bob Spur TV. Let's get him on.
What's up,
yes,
Bob?
Bobby, how are we doing?
Let's do it, Deli.
All good, man. All good, and yeah, what a night! What for Ben?
What a night!
And, yeah, wicked. And Ben, thank you for turning up, man. That's a big step. Big step.
Yeah, look, you never know until it's finally done. As you say, Bob, Tilly's wearing the shirt, so
that's it. That's it. Yeah, I didn't believe it. I did not believe it till I saw.
She signs the Katuba.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But it's. I know Ben's not in, but to have some articulate, beautiful, intelligent, very factual opinions on the stream. And then having Brian Daigle as well. I think
very good. Bobby, obviously, it's been a bit of exciting news. Spurs fans are getting very excited. In terms of the potential transfer, what do you think of Bissouma as a player and what he would bring?
Yeah, I mean, I've not watched Brighton week in, week out, man, but I can go by some of the games, United games. Who hasn't had a good game against United? I think Cooper pointed out we haven't. But he certainly had a good game against Kane. He marked him out the game, and he controlled the midfield against Bentancur and Højbjerg. There is a player in there, and it is a good addition to the squad for 25 million. And for me, it's a domino effect, Sim. I wasn't too sure on Eriksen, purely and simply. Of course, I'm going to. The way he was towards the end of his career at Spurs left a sour taste, and maybe that clouded my judgment. But there was a feeling that if Eriksen came in, there'd be some of the fan base who'd say, right, that's it, midfield issues done, let's move on. But if we get Bissouma in, I'd be more happier getting an Eriksen in as well, because it just bolsters the midfield options, doesn't it? So I'm more for Eriksen coming in if it looks like when Bissouma deals up. I think he's a great addition. Good addition to the squad. Absolutely great, and that's what we want. We want a bigger squad. That's what Conte wants. Is a bigger squad, and it gives us a bit more of an option.
It's the price, isn't it, though, Bob? I mean, I was saying before, like people. You and me haven't called him the Don yet, but we said he's got a long way to go. And obviously Romero's a big step, Conte's a big step, Kulu and Bentancur. The price and the way this deal has been we don't know the structure, but the cost is another side. It's a great, it's value for money, isn't it? It's more than value for money.
And it's come out of blue, isn't it, Brian?
Yep.
We woke up this morning to the news that it's essentially all but done.
Like Danny Ings.
BBC reporting personal teams terms have agreed. There's a medical supposedly on Thursday. So by Friday, going from a Tuesday morning to Friday, we could have someone being linked, someone signing and holding up the shirt in a matter of three days, which is what we want, really. You guys know Sim, especially. I've come on here a few times. It does do my head in. We speak about it within WhatsApp groups, being linked to 784 players so far this the end of the season. So it does get to me, but I think it's a frustration more than anything, the fact we've been there before. But these are the kind of deals, man, that does excite you, regardless of what the players like. The fact that we've gone in for someone, we're getting it done, and they're going to be at Hotspur away holding up the shirt in the space of days. That's what we want, man. That's what we want. Perisic, to an extent, was like that as well. And so was Forster, although we still haven't. Well, we announced it a lot later. We knew it happened. So that's kind of a scenario we want. I just hope we can get that next level player in. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? In terms of, obviously, Bissouma gives depth to the midfield and stuff like that. Do you reckon there's any qualities you see in him that you think maybe we don't have in our midfield currently?
I mean, Dembele are hard shoes to fill, man. If there's anything build-wise and ability-wise that gets close, I'm not saying he is Dembele before everyone starts shooting me down. If there's anyone who can possibly do that similar job, a box-to-box, hard on the ball, difficult to take off the ball, good pass on him. If there's anyone who can get close to that, certainly Bissouma. If you can get anywhere near Dembele was in his plum under Poch Peak, then we've got a player and a half. I think is a better quality than Højbjerg. Sorry, Ellie, if you're watching. Then there is a bit more quality there. But there's a lot more potential there, man. I think the likes of Højbjerg has hit his ceiling. Bissouma, people look at his age, but he's not going. Sometimes, regardless of age, you go to a better team, you become a better player. Well, essentially, you do. That's where you go. And I think Bissouma is done so well at a mid-table team. Going to a Champions League team can only make him a better player, and that's what we all want, man.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. In terms of other potential deals, we've been rumoured over the past week or so. There's Richarlison deal that has got people talking. What's your take on it? Would you like him through the door, or do you think not for the price that's being touted?
Without sounding like Simon Cowell, I wouldn't like Richarlison at Spurs. I'd love Richarlison at Spurs. I would absolutely love him. Price tag, that's a different conversation. If you could put Winks into the deal, that's even better. A lot of talk about Winks and Mora. I doubt if they take two players off, they need the money. But yeah, put Winks into the deal. As Kuva would say, we'll probably have to pay him more if we put Winks in the deal. But yeah, put Winks in the deal. Richarlison, man, a lot of people are talking about players coming from abroad. Kim, rightly so, has just brought up the fact that Martinez is going for roughly the same price. Is an unknown quantity within the Premier League. It is a risk. For someone who's done it week in, week out for 5 years in the Premier League, he's done it he scored, 7 goals? Yeah, okay. But he performed well. For me, he kept Everton up last season. The shithousery, I didn't like Lamela. Every time he scored a Rabona, you get a 3-year extension contract. But, what I do miss about Lamela is his shithousery. Apart from Romero, who's really doing that at the moment at Spurs. True. So Richarlison for that in the North London derby, man, he'd be right up there. Someone said it in comments a couple of days back, the amount of free kicks and penalties he'd win in and around the area. Penalties in the area, obviously free kicks in and around the area. The fact we need a free kick specialist is a different conversation. But I'd love him, man. I'd love him. 25 years old, still possibly to hit peak. To have him as part of the squad, it'd take a lot to replace Sonny, Kane, and to an extent Kulusevski, but it'd certainly be great competition for the likes. I'd be happier if a Kulusevski or a Sonny got substituted and a Richarlison was our option rather than a Mora or a Bergwijn, who you guys know I'm a big fan of. But Richarlison for me, man, I'd love that. I would love that. And for me, just personal, for me, that would be a statement signing. I know I'm in the minority, but I'd love Richarlison at Spurs. I really, really, really would. He's always had a good game against us as well, guys, hasn't he? He's always played well. I remember the FA Cup game under Jose Goodison.
Bob, where's his best position? Where's his best position for you?
Anywhere along the front three, man. I'd be like, if Kane went on, bring Richarlison on. Sonny or Kulusevski go off, Bring him on. He played, and that for me is another advantage. He can play along the front. He hasn't got a finish on him. He's got a shot on him in the half. But you've got to remember he's playing in the team that hardly created any chances last season. So with the likes of Sonny and Kulu and Deeper Kane, and possibly two quality wing backs who I do think we need to definitely invest in. There's goals there for him, man. There's goals. Personal opinion, I would love Richarlison at Spurs, man. I'd love him to be holding up the shirt.
I agree with you. I think for me, I think he could be a potential star. I think maybe people are put off by, I think maybe because he's only got what 10 to 15 goals maybe every season for Everton. But you got to remember this Everton team have been in disarray for so long now, and he's still shining for them. So I think if you get him in a functional team with better players, I think he could be a star. I really believe that, and I think. Who knows? Like right now, you're thinking, Kane and Son are obviously better than him, but honestly, you never know what you might think about him in a year or two's time. Like he could be the starter in the team, and I wouldn't be that surprised. One other deal that's potentially in the pipeline: Eriksen. Talks of bringing him back on a free transfer. Is that one you're in favour of?
Now I am, yeah. Like I say, pre-Bissouma, I was like, now because there would have been that feeling, Sim, within some of the fan base. All right, we've got a midfielder in, let's move on. And for Eriksen, for me, is that quality squad player that we need. With Bissouma coming in, then I'm all for Eriksen because that's two quality midfielders coming in. But if it was just Eriksen coming into midfield, that would have been. And of course, man, let's not lie, we're all human. For me personally, the last year at Spurs was pretty shit. He did down tools, and that's obviously going to leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But if it's for the better of Spurs, and I know it's a simplified and a bit of a cop-out statement, but if Conte wants him...
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
There you go. Yeah, look, I think he's exactly what we need in centre mid. As much as we need Bissouma, we also need someone a bit creative as well. Someone who can be a bit more guile, a bit cuter on the ball, can pick a pass that no one else can see, can help the likes of Kane. Kane's, I think, as much as I love him dropping deep, and I still want him to do that, even if we have Eriksen, it just lessens the need for him to do it. And then he can be a bit of more of a nuisance in the box. He can really hurt the opposition that way. And we don't have to rely on him to be creative. And with Eriksen there, it gives us a new dimension, I think.
I don't know what you guys think. I love your opinion on that, but I know a lot of people saying we don't need an Eriksen. He doesn't play in the 2 DM. Is there a sense, for me, there's a sense that we had to play 2 DMs. It wasn't maybe a Conte choice, but we had to play those 2 DMs because they were the only 2 quality midfielders we had last season. Yeah. Who were the other options? Winks?
Skip was injured.
Or Harvey White. Yeah, Skip was injured. Winks or Harvey White, really.
I agree with you.
For me, with us playing 3 centre-backs, and if we do bring that other left-sided centre-back in, with the likes of Romero, an on-form Dyer, sorry, Kim, and a better another centre back. Do we really need 2 DMs against the likes of, with all due respect to Brighton, a Brentford, a Palace to an extent? Eriksen would give us that option that we can play just the 1 DM, be it a Bissouma, be it a Bentancur, be it a Højbjerg. That allows us a bit more freedom and creativity up front. Don't get me wrong, I do believe the creativity will come from the wing backs, a better quality wing backs, and from a Kane and a Sonny and Kulu. But if we want that attacking mindset within in the midfield, it allows us to, if we do get a quality, ain't nothing wrong with the back three we've got at the moment. It's a squad game. We need a bigger squad options when it comes. But if better players in midfield will allow us to change, like you say, Sim, will allow us to put that creativity in midfield, and if that's an Eriksen, we can't go wrong, man. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, and it gives us tactical flexibility. You can play 3 in the middle, maybe 3-5-2. Could play 3-4-3. Like I think it's adding Bissouma and Eriksen would be brilliant for the club. I think it would really. I think that would be our midfield done if we get those 2 in the door. Supplement Skip, Bentancur, and Højbjerg with those 2. I think there's any sort of kind of combination you want for any game. There's flexibility there. There's numbers there. It's brilliant.
Yeah, or I mean, if they both come in, it's all bases covered, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like as well, Bob, as you'll know, the last season at the Lane when we had Dembele, Wanyama, and Eriksen could just wander off and do what he wants. So even if you do play a 3, Eriksen can go and do what he wants. We saw how effective that was. All right, that was with a 4 at the back most times. But I think, as you just said, Simeon, if Bissouma and Eriksen do get over the line, we don't need to touch that midfield. Every single thing you need for every single kind of game, purpose, moment, it's all there. It's all there.
But Bissouma himself, Brian, brings that flexibility as well. Because one thing he has got above the rest of the midfielders, and Eriksen coming in, is that engine. The guy's got an engine, man. He's a box-to-box, and I think we don't really have that. Skippy, I know what we think. We all know what we think of him, but have we seen that much of him to think he's a box-to-box? Not so much. But Bissouma does. Bissouma brings that energy and engine in midfield that we need, and like you guys say, it makes our squad bigger and our options a hell of a lot more. Add to that some quality midfielders in Harvey White potentially. We hope it's good for the young kids to have the likes of an Eriksen, Bissouma, Bentancur, and Højbjerg around and learn off them and skip to aspire to.
And Fi, what's your thoughts on Djed Spence?
The reason I didn't want Eriksen in was because there would be a feeling of that's done.
Yeah.
I just hope if we bring Spence in, that's the mindset of that's our right wing back sorted. I've seen quite a few Forest games. He hasn't overwhelmed me. I don't remember him having one man of the match performance all season. He's a good championship player.
Did you watch the FA Cup run, Bob?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was a bit busy.
Fair enough. Yeah, you were a bit.
He's got a valid
I can tell you,
excuse.
against the likes of Leicester and Arsenal, he was man of the match. He was brilliant.
Yeah. But coming from Derby and Forest, I do watch quite a bit of the Championship games, and he's for me, man. Of course, come in and be part of the squad. We want a bigger squad. I just hope we don't rest on our laurels and think that's the right wing back position sorted. Listen, man, I support Emerson when he wears a Spurs shirt. Any player wears a Spurs shirt, I'm right behind him, and I hope Djed Spence turns out to be the best right wing back in the position. But his potential, isn't he? His potential. For me, we need a Perisic-esque kind of player to come in. I've been banging on about Hakimi even before PSG, and I really hope we test the water. Very unlikely, I know, but that's my, I would say, Kleenex rating 10 signing would be a Hakimi.
What's the Kleenex rating for Bissouma?
7.5. I've opened the box, I've reached in, and the rest we'll see.
Bobby, lovely to see you. Quick message from Georgiou to you. He says, glad to see Bob back and looking so well. Come on, you Spurs. So there's a message to you, Bob. Lovely to see you as always, mate. Good to see you on Sunday as well. Great cameo from you at the wedding. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing you very, very soon.
Oh, was it Ryan's birthday? It was
Ryan's birthday today.
Right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you. Nice one, Bob.
He's got it twice now. He's got it twice. We've sung it.
2 birthday songs.
Is it? Oh, who's the other one?
We sang it as us
We sang it to him when he came on.
Oh, right. Okay. No, that's okay.
No worries, he's still got 2. You got the main one from
Brian's
you,
birthday.
Bobby.
When's Brian's? Oh, yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Happy birthday.
Next Wednesday.
Nice one, Bob. Good to see you, mate.
I'll speak to you later, brother.
Absolutely lovely. All right, couple super chats. We have first one from Matt Hayes. Bring up Matt Hayes. Arsenal wanted Bissouma, but we got him, which proves Arsenal get bad everywhere they go, even in the transfer window. Couldn't be more correct. They are getting absolutely bad. Scorpion Fan for Life says Bissouma is a great signing, one of the best Premier League centre mids outside the top 6. Not convinced by Spence. He needs time and not good enough to start. Richarlison, yes.
Okay.
That was Scoring Fans for Life. And Richard Blackdog, big up to Richard Blackdog. He says, to the tune of Everywhere We Go, we got Bissouma, you got Ben White, twice as much money, still effing shy.
I love that.
Still effing shy.
I love that. If he comes, that's his song sorted.
We got Bissouma, you've got Ben White, twice as much money, still effing shy.
You need to send that to Spurs.
Still effing shy.
Or whatever they're called. That's
I like
brilliant.
that Richard Black Dog. That's a bit of a banger. That's actually a bit of a banger,
brilliant.
Richard Black Dog.
That's done.
Kind of like that. I kind of like that. All right. Next up, we have a different Bob. Some say a better Bob, some say a worse Bob. I don't know what camp you're in, but let's bring him on. The one and only Bobby K. It's Bobby K. It's Bobby K. It's Bobby K. How are we doing, mate? Oh, he's on mute. Oh, he's the worst
The
Bob.
rookie.
Oh no,
The rookie.
he is the worst Bob.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. You're on mute. Is he on mute?
No, I'm
Is
not.
that-
I'm not muted. I was just testing to see if you could hear me. I was just
now
testing.
we
You're
can.
right. You didn't see me push any buttons.
True,
Now we
no.
can. How are you, brother?
See
Yeah,
again.
you're absolutely right, Bob. You're absolutely right.
See? You're telling me an Indian guy got his tech wrong? You don't know. When you're calling Microsoft and Dell, it is my cousin helping you. My cousin.
How are
First
you?
off, guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. What a day! We're signing players. Holy
what
shit!
is
I
going
had to
on?
look at the calendar. I had to look at my phone. It's not the end of August. I thought I'd missed my son's birthday and shit. I was like, oh my god, summer's over. You know?
Yeah, it took us
Wow.
all by surprise. Very, very exciting, isn't it? Bobby,
It is. It's
yeah, go on.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say it was fantastic. Jay, Big K woke me up this morning when I was getting him ready for school and whatnot. And he's like, Dad, did you hear? Did you hear? And I'm like, what? No, I haven't heard nothing yet. I'm just waking up to you, big giant, in my room screaming. So, and then he shoves his phone in his face, in my face. I'm like, no, let me. Okay, you start getting ready for school. Let me take a look. And then I see, Alistair Gold, Romano. Oh God, what was the third guy? The first guy that broke it.
Gary Jacob.
Jacob,
Charlie,
that's the one. Yeah.
Charlie Eccleshare as well from the. Testing 1, 2. Okay. Apologies, guys, for the technical difficulties. We are now back live, and not only are we back live, but we have Bobby K waiting to rejoin. So let's get him back on.
I told you, you're making me look bad, man. I'm on the bloody We Are Tottenham TV. You can't sort out the internet. What the bloody shit, man? Oh, hold on, I'm back. You got it going? Okay, thank you, Jaspreet. Hi, guys. Yeah, sorry, you mother bitch. You do it again, I kick your ass. I tell you.
I'm just imagining you're just like shouting someone on the roof, just like holding like a signal, just like perfectly in place while the internet's going
Well, the thing, as soon as I got cut out, I immediately, of course, I got on the phone and everything like that for you guys, right?
Course.
And then he's like, "Oh well, we are all on coffee break. We worked for 10 minutes. We are on 1 hour break now." As you listen, you bastard. Until WeAreTV is done, you get me back on there because this is the only way I get to talk to Brian Daigle. Because anytime he's in England, the only way I get to say hi to Brian is when he's in the stream. So
that's technically
good morning,
a huge lie. That's technically a huge lie, but I'm going to let you get away with that one, brother. I can say, because I know where you're sitting in that. It looks like it's a very sunny day in Toronto already. At what time? 20 past 9
9:20 in the morning, baby. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The birds are chirping. Bissouma, Bissouma, Bissouma.
So the question, the question I was asking you before we rudely got interrupted was what do you think Bissouma brings to our team that maybe we don't have at the moment for you?
Attacking, from creativity in the midfield, shithousery, work ethic. The guy's got a fantastic engine on him. I was saying this earlier that in reality, I can't preach too much about him because the only thing I've seen of Bissouma is when he's played against us. And as far as I'm concerned, every time he's played us, the guy has looked fantastic. Either we've made him look really good, or he goes up a level when he plays against us. Now, I can't remember, I don't know if it was you, Sim, or one of your guests that made mention of when a player like that comes to a better team like ourselves, he in fact will only get better. Mm-hmm. And he's what, 23 years old?
25.
25. So, still a lot of room for improvement. And if you're going to go anywhere and get any better, why not go with the best man? Like, Conte is just bringing people up levels. I think that they didn't even know they had. So I'm really excited about this one. I think what it is, honestly, guys, is that, I'm just more excited that we're finally getting shit done early. Like, it's literally like this last 2 weeks, I would say, has shown that it's not just a Conte effect in the managerial change in the way our football team is playing, but the Conte Paratici effect in overall in the way our football club as a whole, as an entity, is actually operating as a football club and actually doing things. Now, what amazes me about this window is that it's almost the perfect combination of windows for Spurs and, I'm going to say it, Daigle, sorry, Levy fans, because, or for Levy, I should say, and Spurs fans, because the bastard doesn't have to open up his checkbook too much there right now, and we're getting players in. So it's kind of both worlds are being kept happy right now. But that being said, with that kitty that's been left over, it better be dumped heavily somewhere. I don't really want to push through the Bastoni deal with everything that has been. I'm almost, to be honest with you, with the way things have gone and this Bissouma thing happening so quickly, I'm kind of already getting off the Bastoni train a little bit. For as much as I'd love to have him, the way I see other things happening where it's like, boom, here's the money, here's your contract. You want to come play for us? Yes. Sign, boom. Okay, let's get you over here. Let's do the medical and all that stuff and everything. Get you in a shirt, take the pictures, move on to the next guy. And there's that delay with the Bastoni thing where, to me, it almost looks like Inter are almost forcing him out, trying to say to him, well, look, if you really love the club and you want what's best for the club, we need this money. We need you to go. And, we're going to invest back into the club. Maybe in the future you can come back, blah, blah, whatever is being said behind closed doors. We will never know. But I don't want him to be forced on us. Mm-hmm. You never want any player in any position that doesn't want to naturally be here. Now, obviously him being as young as he is, it's like when some of us go off to college or university the first time and everything. You got mixed emotions. You're excited about going, but you're still apprehensive because you're leaving your home. You're leaving everything you've been comfortable with for years. And from my understanding, he just had a child as well, did he not?
Who?
Bastoni.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know about that.
I heard he did. It might be a rumor, but if he did, then I can understand then why even more he would want to kind of stay at home with his family, his child, around his family and everything. So Do I want to uproot this guy and take the gamble that he might come over and go, wow, the grass really is greener on the other side. I'm loving this stadium. I'm loving the atmosphere in Tottenham. I'm loving the fan love. Conte's going to make me a legend. I'm going to be great. I'm going to grow. Or it could go and flip the other side where he almost has Mick Dobley or whatever we're calling him now. That, you know, it's just like the sulky bitch attitude where I really don't want to be here. So I'm going to come in, trudge around as slowly as I bloody can, collect my paycheck, let the fans boo me, don't really care. I'm still going to walk off the field because I have no shame. And, yeah, just carry on collecting my paycheck until they dump me back elsewhere or send me back to Inter Milan on loan the way we sent back McDonald's there to Lyon, right? So it's a gamble, man. But I don't want to do the iffy thing. I'm just excited right now. I'm really happy right now. Things are happening. We're moving. The train's on the tracks, baby. Chugga, choo choo. Let's go.
Yeah, you know what it is? The other thing you've got to look at as well when we spoke about it, I think at the beginning, Simeon, was the clubs that we've beaten to his signature. There were some big clubs. I think it was Liverpool. Obviously, the filth were on, but the fact that these deals are getting done quickly, we're not allowing other people to come in and that these people are realising Conte's, it's a huge sign of intent and being first choice. I know Arsenal can't offer them, or the filth, can't offer them Champions League football, but Liverpool certainly can, and that's the other thing you got to remember, that this is how quick things are getting done now. These big players, we're not messing around. It's in you come, like you just said, Bob. Offer made, offer agreed, medical in, and hopefully. And Bob Spurs said it as well. Bob Spurs said as well. The last time I think we did this was under Jose, wasn't it? When people like Bow and Regulon just came in like that. Joe Hart, we didn't know about. Matt Doherty, we didn't know about. These deals got done quick under Mourinho, who is one of these elite, or was one of these elite managers that do things. And now we've got another elite, and even more so because he's in the prime Conte. These deals are getting done quick, and this is a huge thing for us.
And it's a fantastic thing, though, Brian. You know what I mean? Like, I know you talking about the transfer window, pretty much almost lose your marbles from June till the end of August. And it's just consistent frustration. And it is for you and pretty much every other Spurs fan. And it's been 21 years we're going into now of consistent frustration. So it's just really, really, I still don't want to go throw all my eggs into the basket and start preaching Levy and Paratici and Conte and wow, yes, yeah, because you're still giving us 21 years of misery. It's like being married to the same woman for over 20 years and she doesn't shag you, and then the one day she finally says 21 years later they're going to get some. You go, running around the house all excited, lighting off fireworks and throwing confetti in the air. Yeah, tonight's the night. No, I'm excited, but I'm not that level excited yet. Yep. So when we get that I still think we need that one marquee big signing. And who knows, maybe we've already made it, because I think Bissouma's an improvement. I think Perisic is obviously an improvement. Djed Spence, I don't think is an improvement, but I already didn't know he was 24. I actually thought he was 20 or 21. Those extra 3 years make a big difference on players, especially when they're coming up from the championship. So my expectations, just based on his age, have significantly lowered. That being said, I don't think we've upgraded on that side of the field, even if we do get him in. And I don't want him to be another Cess where we've got to wait a year, 2, 3 years now with Cess, where he finally comes to fruition and starts delivering us something that we get excited about and say, yes, this is why we brought him in. Because when we played what we paid for Cess, I'm sorry, but for him to finally start showing a little bit to us for a half a dozen games or just under 10 games towards the end of the season under Conte is not enough of a return. I know a lot of people are saying, but he didn't look good. He looked better than Regulon, this and that. And then you get people like Will Stewart. You'll compare the stats and everything, number to number. Regulon actually had better numbers, whatever. And there's the whole eye test thing, whatever. But I'm just saying that we don't have 3 years. We simply don't have to. We can't bring in players that are going to be better in 3 fucking years. We don't have that. That is not an option right now. We've got a year with this guy. He's got a year option after this year that we can activate with Conte. So we've got at very, very, very best 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. So we cannot bring in investment players or the ones for the future kind of thing. And then I know there's the whole grumblings about bringing in Djed Spence and then loaning him right back to Forest for their push in the Premier League right away here. But then what's the point of buying him? Why are we spending that kind of money? Why are we buying players to give to other teams and just holding on to them in the background kind of thing? That's the business model.
I wouldn't totally mind that if we sign another right wing back who's a bit more experienced, better quality than we have, and then we sign.
Yeah.
Then we can keep one of Doherty or Emerson as a backup, have an experienced, better quality wing back, and then have Spence to come in maybe next season after a solid loan spell in the Premier League. That would be not a terrible option, but I don't know if that's what we're going for.
What we've got to remember with that as well, Sim, though, is it's very easy for us to say, yeah, we'll get an Emerson or Doherty out the door. It's a case of who's going to want them.
I think teams will want him.
Doherty, I don't know with Doherty, coming back from a big injury like this, what is he now, 30 or
30,
about to?
Yeah.
He just turned 30, yeah.
So he just turned 30, so it's all well and good us saying, and I'm with you that one of them should go, but it's a case of, will we get the money? Will we be allowed to get him for the money Conte wants to use? Like, what would you say Emerson would go for now? Because we bought him for what, 30 million euros?
We bought him for about 25 million, 23 million pounds.
I don't think we're getting our money back on him.
I don't think it's decreased that much. I really don't. I think he's still quite young. He's 23. I think he had a good end of season form.
Yep.
So I think he's maybe it's decreased a bit, but I don't think it's that much.
So that's what I'm saying. Will we as a club allow him to go for that? That's the issue. Finding a club for these two, I think that would be the issue. But I'm not open. I'm open to either of them going. But it's just it's not as easy as us saying, right, let's just get rid of one of them, is it?
No, it's true. You always have to find a buyer. Bobby, what's your opinion on the potential Richarlison deal that's been banded about? What's your take on that?
I'd like to have the guy. I'm not going to ever deny any player that brings in that kind of clout, that brings in that kind of attacking prowess into our team. At the end of the day, you can't deny that the man is talented. And the fact that he showed that talent on an Everton team has to excite you. At 61 million, no. Just not at that price tag. Because when we really look at it and we break it down, at the end of the day, we know he's going to be a backup to Kane. He's backup to Sonny. Maybe he'll challenge Decky for the right side. Who knows on that front, really. But for that price tag, I think we need to bring in somebody we know that's going to be going into our starting 11 and impacting our starting 11.
Yeah, but we're never going to sign someone in the striking department that's going to go in the starting 11. It's just not going to happen.
No, you're right about that.
That's the kind of caliber you're looking for. And for me, Richarlison, he's obviously not as good as Son and Kane at the moment. That's how we feel. But I think, first of all, for £51 million, I don't see a better player who's Prem-proven, Brazilian international, can cover two positions, and has the quality that he has, and is attainable. So for me, I don't know if he wants to be he's just been on the bench for Man City for so long. I don't know if he wants to come and know and not be sure whether he's starting or not. I think Richarlison might be more up for the fight than someone like Jesus would. But look, I'd like Jesus as well. But you're looking very similar price for Jesus than you are for Richarlison.
I thought he was 15 million cheaper. I thought he was 35 million pound and 42 million euro, something like that.
I think it'll be very similar price for Jesus and Richarlison.
Be a huge stumbling block with Jesus.
Why is that? Who's on a higher wage, Brian?
Well, no, I mean, Jesus is on. I would say he's on a fair amount of Man City, and then dropping down to us. I don't know if he certainly won't go on Kane's money immediately.
No, we can't.
So I think, I must admit, Simeon, the more time I'm spending, the more I'm warming to Richarlison. I'm still not fully on board, but Jesus is my. Out of those two, I'd want Jesus, but Jesus, like you said, coming down from being a sub to being a sub again, where I believe the Filth are really, really interested in him. I can offer him.
Yeah, go on.
And they will, and we do know they will pay a 300 grand wage.
They've done it before.
They've done it before. They'll do it again. It seems to be a curse for them. That's my concern with Jesus.
We've never seen Richarlison in a functioning team. Jesus has obviously been in an unbelievable Man City team where chances get laid on a plate for him, or on a regular basis and stuff. But Richarlison's always had to be a standout player in a struggling team wherever he's been, and we haven't seen yet what he would be like if you put him in a functional Spurs side with under Antonio Conte.
You know what? I'm going to test that theory for you this morning, Sim. Let me just fire up the PlayStation. I'm going to transfer Richarlison over, and I'll have a few matches with him, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay? And I'm not that good at this game, so.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Bobby, you're gone. Yeah, we're going.
No, I just wanted to quickly before you throw me out here and let moving on here. I just wanted to quickly say, God bless you to Ben and Ashley. Congratulations to the newlyweds. Wishing you guys a lifetime of happiness together. Nothing but health, wealth, and happiness to you both. And yeah, looking forward to hearing how the honeymoon and the wedding and everything went for them, because I love seeing the video of the walk down the aisle to the Champions League music, man. Me and the boys watched that, and the three of us, we were howling. And of course, little Kate turns around to me and goes, "Dad, I'm going to do that at my wedding." And I was like, "Well, yeah, why the hell not? You know, just got to get your mom to agree." I'm cool with it, of course. You can wear a Spurs kit at your wedding, as far as I'm concerned, right? So.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, Bobby. Good to see you as always.
Always a pleasure, boys.
Great call as always, and thanks for contributing. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Sim. Brian, talk to you soon, boys. Have a great day.
Nice one. Super chat from Brandon Scholler. He says, really worried about the SA accusations. A player shouldn't be allowed to move while under active investigation, even though he is a top talent. This is poor judgment. Well, it's interesting you say that. There has been an update.
Look at that
from George Bannister, who obviously gets some inside information through the club. He's written on Twitter, understanding regarding Bissouma's ongoing assault charge is that whether it be a judicial decision or new evidence, Spurs have been told that there is no longer a case for him to answer.
There you go.
So that is what. That's what George Bannister reckons. I don't think he would tweet that unless he was getting some sort of information. I don't think he'd put his reputation on the line like that.
No.
On a serious subject as that. So it sounds like whatever, all the case against Bissouma is over, and but obviously there's nothing official there. That's just what has been updated by George Bannister. So take that as you will. But he says Spurs have been told that there is no longer a case to answer for him.
Well, I think this goes back to what we were saying at the beginning as well, that you would think the clubs, when this happens, they would have done their due diligence and they would have had this thoroughly checked out to see if there was any blowback from it or any second wind of it being blown up into a bigger thing. And I think this is the club obviously know a lot more, and not just us. Brighton will let them know a lot more, and his legal team. So I think this is. Whilst, and big up Brandon, because I love that dude and hope he comes on whilst I'm here.
Brandon, yeah.
I think this is just been stoked up because obviously the transfer's getting closer. But I would imagine the club have completely done their due diligence. Due diligence, bloody
yeah. I mean, like they've got massive legal teams.
Exactly.
These clubs. They're £1 billion businesses. They're not gonna leave anything to chance, are they?
Yeah, they don't go to the no win no fee lawyers.
No, exactly.
They have the big time lawyers, and this would have been everything gone off with over with a fine tooth comb.
All right, and one other super chat from Travis. He says, a third signing 4 days into the window. Has anyone seen Levy? Whoever has him hostage can keep him. Right.
Yeah, well, I am back in the country. Who knows where he is? But yeah, listen, things are looking good. And
I heard we just signed someone just because you're here. That's why.
Do you know what? Listen, and I will address it now because everyone will be going about it. We're myself and all the Levy out people, and not just the people that protested at the training ground. Everyone around the world that has been Levy out. All we wanted was a successful Tottenham, and all we wanted was money to be spent at the club. And this, obviously, the announcement came out, which was a huge sign of intent. And Bob used that word, intent, a lot, Bob Spur. And it was right. It was a show of intent. And let's see what happens. And it looks like they're following through with their promise, which is a huge improvement. And let's just hope it constantly happens for many years to come.
Completely agree. Well, look, that's all we have time for today. We might bring you another video a bit later on, just a full Tottenham update surrounding all the news surrounding Spurs over the last few days as we've been away. But look, Brian, it's been a pleasure having you back on the stream and joining the calls as well. Thank you all the callers for calling and contributing and giving their opinions. Nice nearly 2.5 hour stream for you guys today. Great news about Yves Bissouma. So everyone start to get excited. Thank you everyone for tuning in, watching, liking, subscribing. Thank you everyone for on all the super chats as well, of course. But that's everything for the live stream today. We'll be back shortly. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.